The one thing that Mr. Modi, despite my serious grievances with certain failings of his government on certain fronts, I have voted for him and I will continue to vote for him as long as he's in active politics. There's no doubting that at all. Is that he has actually shown 2 or 3 things which are very, very important, that it is possible for India to witness an attitudinal change at a tectonic level, at a seismic level, at multiple levels. I think he's shown that India is capable of change for the better. I don't think any of his schemes are jumlabazis. I think they're effectively a call to change, and they're asking the citizens to participate in his initiatives as opposed to being mute spectators hoping that the government will lift them out of their misery. That change is important, and I hope that change and that attitudinal change also percolates at the civilizational front and not just on the economic front. Which means you need to start coalescing and start investing in concerted efforts as communities, as groups, to look out for your own interests, because at the end of the day, you can live in a gated community, but if a mob chooses to show at your door and says, come out or you're out, then what do? Greater Noida has seen that in the last 2 years, 3 years. Fantastic gated communities ransacked by a handful of 15, 20 people, taking the entire place down with pickaxes and whatnot. So if you think that private security and gated communities will protect you from what is coming away, that's not going to happen. You need a community response. You need a societal response. Therefore, as someone who loves his Indic identity, I don't know if I live up to it, but I certainly love that particular identity, and I hope I live up to it someday. I hope that the government takes this particular mandate equally seriously, because I think every incentive and every progress on the Vikas front will be squandered if identity-related politics for the negative effectively pull this civilization down. So on that particular front, I think this particular election is a tipping point. It perhaps reflects a point of inflection. And as Harsh rightly points out, this would be, according to me, the phase of rebirth of the Indian civilization, of the Indic civilization, of the Dharmic civilization at every level. It calls for serious pressure from the public on the government to develop on or to deliver on certain critical aspects. Since he's asked you to take an interest in development and he's asked you to take an interest in the running of this particular country, now you have the onus to put pressure and then ask them to deliver. So my request to everyone in this particular audience would be, I'm all for Vikas, but Vikas with identity must be the way forward, and there cannot be any compromise on that. Because the last 2 years, I think, have established very clearly how every institution and every nerve center of the Indic identity is effectively going to be dragged at the center of an ugly controversy. Every festivity would be at the center of a green controversy. Okay? So I think it is time that we evolve a response, and that is only possible if there is a dispensation which, whether or not it does something, at least does not create obstacles for your activities. That is all I wish to say. So kindly think of this as a vote for civilization, which means both arthic, let's say, progress and dharmic